Hello world and welcome back to What If Class 1A was sent into an Isakai, part 9? Yeah, part 9. Jeez, it's been so long. We're just going to assume basically that all of the naturally progressed, all of the classmates of Class 1A have all progressed at their same rate and have all gone usually their separate ways. Most of them have gotten up to level 8 by this time. Or even higher, in accordance of Ojiro and Tsukiyomi, who have both leveled up to almost level 15. Asui, however, is unknown to the rest of the gang. She doesn't love answering that question, as she doesn't want to share it. After all, she is quite highly leveled. Having a familiar is that powerful is quite odd for somebody at her level. Nobody would believe her about what her level is. But we will continue this time anyways. Deku. Talking with his mother. She thanks him for all that he's done over all this time. And that she would reward him with something more greater than anything else. But however, she already rewarded him at the start of this. Start of all of this. He asks what it could possibly be, as she says, innocence of the soul. I'm not going to lie, son, but you look horrifying. Your face, it's covered in blood, and the rest of your body, it's pale as the dark moonlight. I don't know what else I could give you. You already have plenty of strength, intelligence, and all of the skills in the world. There's nothing else for me to give you, except what you need most. Innocence and your friends. This world is harsh, son. I will let you know this. The humans, they're unaccepting of monsters. They see them as nothing more than just playthings, things to torch down in the way of their conquest. The demons, they're only a byproduct of this. That being said, what they have done is unacceptable. Go, find your friends. I'm excited to see their reactions. Once they figure out their best friend has always been there, right next to them, waiting to show himself. Go. Go and be who you truly are. As he feels this power imbued into him, even though his body is basically made out of all rubber, and he can stretch out just like an octopus. He still felt this in the core of his heart. Not like there is a core, but you know, he accepts this and hugs his mother one last time before he makes his way down the tree, sliding all the way down it using his tentacles as sleds, and jumps off into the forest, starting to make his way towards the town. However, then he gets an idea. Wait a minute. I need to introduce myself in a bombastic way. Yes, an explosive. Oh, I can't wait. I know exactly what I'm going to do. He starts heading to the island instead. But on the way to the island, he stops inside the forest. He stumbles upon a garden, and a girl with horns and a spiky nose. Looks up to him. Her beauty encapsulates him. Why would she be living out in the forest? He's paralyzed. He has no idea how to react with people. Most of the people that he's talked to is either All Might or one of the mermaids, or people that he's mind controlled. He tries to slowly make his way out of there, except she catches him and says, "Oh my god, another human!" Or not. A ghost? No, you're wearing such a classy suit. How could you be a ghost? Maybe a high-class demon. No, not even that. Anyways, he says, you're not scared of me? He was about to like cloak himself and then run, but she seems nice. She like holds on, cups onto his hands as she says, "Oh no, I don't care about physical anything. Trust me, I'm quite ugly compared to most people." As he's like, "What are you talking about? Your natural beauty is enough to make any model stare." She says, "Model? Oh, that's right. I'm in a random, other world. Natural beauties of the world." She's like, "Oh, thank God. I was looking for some friends out here. I tried going into town, but..." She likes to ramble. And she continues on with this, saying about how she has no friends. But she did meet one friend. A big dark one. Yes, he was the first one I ever made, actually. I met him out in the middle of the cave. Cthulhu. He's so nice. He hates it when I call him that. As he's like, "Wait a minute. Cthulhu." He looks down to her. She's like, "Oh wait, I have to introduce you to one of my friends." She puts her hands to the ground and starts going, like that shit. He's like, "What the fuck?" As like a summoning circle starts to come out, and then an goblin general just rises out of it, almost level 40, decked in armor, and it says Cthulhu's right hand man under his title. And she's like, "Holy shit!" And the guy just like he pops up. He's like, "What do you want? Introduce yourself. This is..." And Deku's like, "Oh, I'm Deku." And she's like, "Oh, what a wonderful name. This is Gobo." And he's like, "Sup?" And he's like, "Well, that's kind of rude." And she's like, "And I'm Carissa. Nice to meet you all. Another friend to hang out with me in the forest." And he's like, "I kind of have other things to do, sorry." And she says, I don't have much to do in this forest. Could you hang out for just an hour longer?" He says, "Well, an hour couldn't hurt." He settles down into her garden. Spreading his tentacles throughout the forest, he wants to feel around and sense what's happening on the front lines. He sees that it's become sort of and the fronts are becoming much more solitary as nothing seems to be happening. However, there is a focal point on the right side that leads down into 3 kingdoms and connected by one swamp. Perhaps if they were to push all of the fronts to that one place, if they were to take away the defenses from that one place, all of the monsters would be held up in that creek, all condensed in there. His mind comes back to the present as she slices up some fruits and vegetables and puts them all into a salad as she serves it to him, saying, like with sparkled eyes, as she's like, "Taste, please. I made it myself. I call it vegetables." He's like, "These are just vegetables." She's like, "Exactly." He's like, "Delicious." As he just like shovels it onto his face and it just falls down onto the floor. She's like, "Good. It's so nice to think to have your, have another person here. You can't imagine what just Gobo eats. I'm telling you, it's pretty messy." As he's like, "I'd imagine so. He is an 8-foot goblin general. He's terrifying." And Gobo's like, "Good to know your place." His Deku's like, "You really can't see levels, can you?" Gobo and him start, a little bit of bickering as she walks over and starts watering her plants. However, she leaves one purple plant off to the left back side, on the opposite side of the mountain. He walks over to it and stretches out one of his arms as it falls down to the ground and drags along it, and then tries to touch the plant. However, it stops him from touching it. This purple morphed plant, it seemed attracted to him. As she comes up behind him and freaks him out for a second as he's like, "Oh, it's just you." She's like, "Oh, that plant? You see, that plant was blessed. But Since it was blessed, all the rest of the plants sort of waddled away around it, as it was treated differently. It was given all the water, and they weren't. Soon it grew lonely. You see, plants are just like us humans. They reflect our personalities back at us. Those around it affect it. Exactly why it turned sour. I tried to cut off, talking from it to it and being around it. However, it seems to have just gotten worse over time. Deku looks up to her and puts his arm around her shoulder, wrapping it around her multiple times like a scarf. You know I would never leave you, right? Not now. Her face resembled that of Ochako's. He couldn't help but not shake that image out of his head. He treated her the same as his classmates. She leaned in for his kiss, however, he just hugs her and she's like, wait a minute. What the hell was that then? She darts back as she's like, holy, too much emotions. I must go. And she just walks off. He's like, well, that was weird. He then realizes that she was going in for a kiss. He's like, stupid. I should have, wait, was that not considering her feelings? Fuck innocence. I have to leave anyways. He packs up his stuff and starts leaving. Putting up his suit and tucking it back in as he leaves off onto the beaches. However, she's standing right on the beaches waiting for him, almost like she knew exactly what he was going to do. He says that, please let me through. She says, why are you leaving so soon? If you leave, then I'll be all alone again. As then she holds her hands down to her side, thrusting into the ground as it summons Gobo and a little Cthulhu imitation of Cthulhu, level 20. As they both rush at Deku, Deku instantly just upheaves the glass, using his tentacles and bashing them to the sides, bashing Gobo into the water, sinking him with his armor and heavy shield. He basically sinks instantly. And the Cthulhu little thing is squeezed tight as it can't even breathe, as he holds it in front of her and says, Why do you cling so much? Humans, you don't need them, okay? You don't need friends right now, at least. Find your purpose and then gain friends. She says, but my purpose is to get friends. God, then come with me. He holds out his hand, and she puts out her hand too. However, her hand phases straight through his as she says, oh, sorry, I activated my powers too fast. She shifts back to reality and shakes his hand. We then get them going back to the island, as everybody treats her differently. However, he instantly makes an example of whoever is treating her differently, and basically everybody, out of fear of him, just starts treating her nicely. She sets up shop there with these crazy little dolls and shit, and she is a huge part in the later. However, we'll shift over right now. I mean, well, no, not before Deku tells Aizawa, Endeavor, that to bring all the cooks that are currently in the to offer up cooks into the army to supply the front lines. Deku sprinkles in a little bit of his, squid magic. Octopuses into the drinks with also mind-controlled chefs so that they can control the whole front line by themselves. He starts shifting the front line to pinpoint all of the forces. To basically get those guys that are protecting the harbor to fall back into the harbor, causing a huge fluctuation in the forces, thus summoning all of the adventurers from Class 1A. We will resume where they are at. All of Class 1A has gathered once more. After all, it's been a few months. You know, all of them are there in this caravan that is heading towards the harbor. While on the caravan, while sitting there, they find one carriage that is lined in gold, completely imprisoned. It looks like almost the king's throne. However, freaking All Might, you know, sorts them out, saying that whoever's in there is actually the level 80 adventurer, known as only the hero. It's said that with just a slight glance of his look, he can take away all the intelligence of a person with one look. And they're completely dulled. Their mind goes blank as they become a zombie, walking around without position. However, it has been found that their strength and speed becomes that of legends. But what good is that when you can't use it? Basically, as they all make it into the harbor, you know, Bakugo and Asui having their little discussions about what to do with the dragon. As since then, everybody's been fiercely leveling up, and Bakugo had held it secret that he had a dragon until Asui had felt it through the power of the thing of, you know, being the nature wielder of the party. She naturally, you know, knows almost everything that has to happen with monsters. She could feel it immediately as she felt as she tapped him on the back. She says that you're reckless for bringing him here. However, Bakugo says, no, this is one of the biggest events. They say that even the Demon Lord could show up here. She says, whatever. It's not like the hero will let us even go on to the front lines anyways. The hero, a man shining in gold armor, struts in front of them, stopping them from being able to go into the fray immediately, saying that he'll deal with all of the enemies first, as he starts walking through the water. Tsukiyomi actually says that his reconnaissance crow is gone. Something had happened to it, maybe in the battle. Maybe a orc archer had gotten it. Who knows? Those things are deadly. After all, a level 10 orc is enough to take down one of them. No wonder his bird got sniped. However, then we shift over to the viewing from above. Basically, All Might is discussing with the rest of the class about what he had seen, what the nightmare had done, about the insanity that had happened on Island, and how now it's a prospering empire. It comes out with all new sort of equipment and different technologies every day. They also say that the sea has become populated with fishmen, and has become a huge empire by itself, spanning across half of the sea. These mermen are level 20 by birth, and are level 30 by adulthood. They're insane by nature. Who knew that they were allowed among the normal beasts of this world to live? Many empires are suspicious of them. However, they share the same technologies as the Island Empire, causing a huge fluctuation of power on that board. That's why the demons are attacking this exact spot. At least that's what they think. However, Deku sits above with the crow on his shoulder. His shoulder kind of wobbles, as you know, he's still made out of gelatin sort of feeling thing. Like he looks like he's sturdy. However, he's still made of octopus. And that being said, he could also heal easily and shift around his body just like, well, the girl can too. Tatiana, or whatever her name was. As she stands behind him and says, well, when are you going to do something? He says, Wait, hold up. As he looks down and sees level 20 war golems charging the border of the swamp and tearing down the gates, trying to get into the water, as it all fluctuates with almost 500 enemy barbarian orcs, 200 golems, and 500 catsi that are just basically running around stabbing their way through the defensive men. All the defensive men are basically giving up their lives at the sight of enemies, as they've been brainwashed by Deku to basically do his bidding. And his bidding is that they let them all just basically store up in the harbor. So Deku's like, all right, now it's time. He swiftly jumps up into the air and starts making his way down, as the air that's coming up makes his skin flap in the wind, as his whole body is kind of like warbling. He has a sort of slow fall, but before he can actually get to the bottom, a massive flash of light is seen, as all of the whole entire place had been made a crater of. A 500 orc army, 200 golems, in a radius of almost half a mile, had been destroyed in one hit. This bright light spans over all of the harbor, endangering almost all of the soldiers that were also on the battlefield, as everything that's in there is killed immediately. No one heard a thing, no one saw a thing, except a bright light. This almost nuclear bomb-like ability that had been dropped in the middle had finished the battle signal handily in a draw. Deku, however, just plops onto the ground, bobbing like jello, as then he tries to open up his eyes again. However, he's temporarily blinded. Once that clears away, though, he gets back up. What the fuck? This isn't what I meant. This isn't at all. As then he feels a tap on his shoulder from behind. A golden cloaked figure sort of behind him taps on his shoulder and says, "Sorry, but you're gonna be a little bit stupid for a little while." As Deku looks down to his IQ stat, as it drains all the way down, farther and farther and farther, he looks up to see the hero. God bless. And then that will be it for this time. I'll be seeing you guys in the final edition. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.